So for the record, my name is Jonathan Jones. It's my pleasure, my privilege to be your host and moderator for this afternoon. Someone cared a lot about you to invite you to this presentation. As you saw, perhaps from our opening screen, that the subject matter that we're going to be discussing today centers around the fact that this month has been declared by the government to be Alzheimer's Awareness Month. So that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to spend a little time discussing that and perhaps sharing with you a testimonial or two, or hearing from you any stories that you may have with regard to this dreaded condition. And if we have time, and if Dr. Prasad is able to make it, we'll get some comments from him or share some comments that I have received from Dr. Prasad about this exact same condition. So we're going to do a deep dive on this and hopefully be able to find some pathway to some level of relief for you or someone that you care about. So thank you very much for joining us. So as you can see, today is June the 8th, 2025, and it's about 10 minutes after 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So before we begin, we have to make it clear the government requires that we not provide you with any misleading information, and provide you with a disclaimer that helps you to understand that everything that you hear may or may not apply to you. So, but from an educational perspective, so here's our disclaimer. The FDA has not evaluated these statements. Testimonials that you'll hear are anecdotal. Results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. Neither the Healthcare Support Association of America, Engage Global, Dr. Prasad, Jonathan Jones, or any of the authorized representatives are making claims that any supplements recommended will treat or cure any disease state. This presentation is for information and educational purposes solamente. It is not intended to be a substitute for a visit to your doctor. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. So we have to say that, and the law makes it very clear that we have to say that. And remember, the reason for this is because only the government can declare a nutritional supplement to be a treatment or cure for disease. So that's why we have to tell you this, because only the government can declare a nutritional supplement to be a treatment or cure for disease. But the science that you're going to hear is rock solid because of who the science is based on. And then you can draw your own conclusions. Information that you're going to hear should be taken into consideration when making decisions about your health and well-being. So we hope that at the very least, you will do that. So what about Alzheimer's? What about Alzheimer's? Well, it's a pretty bad problem. You can see from this little infographic that it's a serious condition. And the one to me that is the most sobering, all of it may be chilling to you, but the one to me that is the most sobering is the top right over there, where it says that the 1 in 9 adults age 65 and older have Alzheimer's. So that's a little higher percentage than 10%, 1 in 9. And that's devastating to me. And it's no longer, just a senior condition anymore. But as you can see, it says, looks like that slide is a little bit washed out there. Something happened to the print, but that's adults age 65 and older. So 1 in 9, a little more than 10%. And that's just very sad. 7 million Americans living with Alzheimer's disease. That's the current statistic, 2025. It's projected to be 13 million by the year 2050. So that's almost double in the next 25 years. So it's taken until the year 2025 to reach 7 million. And within 25 years, they're projecting that it will nearly double the number of people with Alzheimer's. And again, that's just a sobering reality. And when you consider the fact that baby boomers are aging at an alarming rate, I actually forget the rate that baby boomers are turning 60 right now, but it's a staggering figure of the baby boomers, and that generation is not gone by a long shot. Those of us who are in our early 60s are at the tail end, the bottom end of the baby boomer generation, and there are just millions and millions of baby boomers still on the planet, fortunately. And if they learn some of the things that Dr. Prasad has to share with us, then that could also increase the lifespan of many of those same baby boomers. The financial impact is quite staggering. As you can see there, we're talking about billions. That's the care cost, over 400 billion. That's the estimated care cost for taking care of, treating someone with Alzheimer's disease. So when there's a cost, that means that there's someone is benefiting from it, and that's sad to say, because that's what keeps the wheels of the economy turning, is disease. So when there's a disease and it generates treatment, and when it generates drugs, when it generates caregivers, all of that is all about means that jobs and the economy is still in motion. If you would prefer to live your life not being part of that statistic, then it might be that this information may be of benefit to you. The global burden is even greater. As you can see, there's an estimate of some 55 million that are affected, with an estimate of 10 million new cases every single year. $1.3 trillion in annual cost is what's projected with respect to this dreaded condition. So, but the question that you all may be wondering about is there something that can be done? Have we seen any positive results? You know, what exactly has happened? Have we stumbled across anyone that's had any benefits with this condition? Well, the answer is yes, and we're very happy to be able to say that. We have one story that we'd like to share with you right away, and that gives you a time, for those of you who either have a family member or are dealing with someone in a particular condition, some level of dementia. You can feel free to share your story here in maybe just a moment or two. So just be willing, thinking about it. Okay, so there's no pressure, but we're willing to hear whatever your story is. All right, so hang on a second. Let me just go ahead and share this story. For some of you, you've heard this one before, but there's a lot of new folks that are visiting with us right now that are here for the very first time, and we want them to be able to hear a story that just popped up. It popped up on our radar. In fact, one night, this woman simply just blurted out, "Can I tell my story?" And we wanted to hear her story. So she told us all about her mom and how her mom had changed. Something was different with her mom. So let's listen in as Michi Morris tells us about her mom.
Morris.
Okay, Michi Morris. Well, it's nice to meet you, Michi Morris, and thank you so much for being willing to tell us whatever it is you have to tell us. So we're looking for all ears.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity, or space rather. It makes it even more special. I had no idea this is what the topic was today, Alzheimer's. I had no idea.
The brain. So we're talking about the brain. So go ahead.
The brain, yeah. So my husband just, was inviting me through Rob. I really don't personally know him, but I know we started with the products. And the collagen, I started my mother on the collagen, I think last Tuesday is when we received it. Now, my mother has been diagnosed with the Alzheimer's for, I guess, about 10 years. So no focus. 10 years, yes. So no focus, just kind of staring. She's 86 years old. So she's just basically kind of staring. Sometimes we put on gospel music. She'll kind of move her head, that type of thing. Sometimes I'll tell her an old story about her grandmother and she may give a laugh. Other than that, no, she can still walk on her own, that type of thing. But I started the collagen on last Tuesday. And on top of that, last Thursday, she was diagnosed with COVID. And so she had a lot of mucus, yes. So she had a lot of mucus on her chest. So we received the products. I started giving her collagen in her Ensure, because that's the only way, even her medicine, she just, she chews them. So I started putting it in her Ensure and sometime in the cereal. And And then the brain boost, I only gave her about 2 brain boosts because my brother is dealing with pancreatic cancer. So my first order, I wanted to send that over to him and get him going right away. So it was round about this week. I think it was round about Friday. You know, we was taking her, you know, on her daily walks. She had more clarity. She was pushing her walker. The neighbors was like, we haven't seen her in a while, and they was calling her name. And she stopped and turned around and waved to them.
Oh my.
And she had not done something like that in 2 or 3 years. And her foot that she was dragging, she was able to keep up with her walker. And then I think it was that Friday morning when I put her in the shower, which she has to lift her leg over the tub. And so I shared with her, I said, why don't you try and wash your face with the washcloth? And this is something she has not done in 2 or 3 years. I would have to bathe her. And just with that one prompting, she started washing her face, and she continued to wash her neck, and she continued to wash her body. And I'm like, whoa. And then when I went around to pick up and get some more soap, she had stepped out of the tub on her own, 1, 2, without falling. And I'm like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. And the only thing I noticed, and it's been different things, I've called my brother after that, and she said, good morning. She said, good morning to him. She had not said anything like that to them in 5 years when they would call. And then last night, my husband and I was going to bed. He's online, and she goes, y'all, I'll see you. She has not had a sentence of 4 or 5 words like that in years. And I'm like, what is going on? Could this be? So the only thing I know was the collagen I've given her for about 7, 8 days. She missed 2 days last week. And this morning I did not give it to her. I gave her the brain booster, and she only had about 3 brain boosters. Wow. So that's the only thing other that I've noticed I've been doing. So
I'm speechless right now, Michi Morris.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. Wayne, you want to make a comment on this same topic here, Wayne?
Yeah, my wife. Yes, if I can. Yes, Jonathan. Babe, if you can share with them too. Other things though that was surprising to me was my wife had went out for her walk, and I went somewhere else. I maybe to the dump, something like that. But my wife called me and said, "Babe." She was in the, I think what happened, she went to the room after her walk to just check in on Mom. And she said what she noticed was Mom had gotten out the bed, had moved her legs out of the bed, which she had not done, and slid down, and babe, you can tell it better, slid to the foot of the bed. And both of them, we said, oh my goodness, we're almost getting a little nervous. You know, now I don't want to use the word scared, you know, because God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, or scareful. But the thing was like, oh my goodness, you know, and the beautiful part about it is to understand that if your body is able to get what it actually needs to be able to function, even irrespective of the age, because Mom is 80-something years old. And I did this for my, so now we're going to take it day by day, you know, a little bit at a time, because, you know, the tendency would be, oh my goodness, because she get everything back. We don't know. But what we do know is what we see different day to day, we know is you know, it's a blessing. We know also she's taking her regular stuff, and we can tell the difference because with the regular stuff, she's not doing she hasn't been doing what she's doing now. And then even myself, I was just sharing with someone, I have been taking the micro and the brain boost because when we got our first product, what we did, our brother-in-law, who was 40-something years old.
I'm gonna break in on Michi Morris's story here for just a moment, and tell you that she came back about a month or so later to give us some follow-up on her mom. she continued with the micro daily and continued with the collagen daily and all of Dr. Prasad's formula. And I think it was maybe 2 months later, maybe a couple months later, she said that her mom crawled across her bed to straighten up the corner of her bed on her own. It wasn't to her liking, so she had gone across, just crawled across and straightened it up. And she began to say other things. So I'm hoping that I can find Dr. Prasad's comments on that right after he heard this for the first time. But I'm just going to relate to you that Dr. Prasad had indicated that in order for someone who had been in this state, in this condition, this advanced state of Alzheimer's disease, that there's a chance that some portion of the brain perhaps had begun to become useful again. And he based that on a statement that the stem cell, even though that there's the beta amyloids do damage to a certain part of the neuron, the stem cell stays in place and that it can reactivate and start to function again. And so that was the conclusion that he drew as to how it's possible that Michi Morris's mother could have seen these kinds of results. So it was pretty remarkable to those of us who witnessed it and saw, heard her tell that story very at the time. So we're just excited about that. But we want to hear, in case there's anyone here right now that is dealing with someone who has seen some good results with Micro Daily or the Brain Boost or the Collagen Daily. Would you like to relate your story right now? We'd like to hear it. We'd like to hear anyone who's seen some cognitive improvement. This has not been rehearsed. No one has been pushed up to do this. So Elizabeth Henry has a story for us. Let's add Elizabeth. Okay, Elizabeth, go ahead, please.
Okay, I've told this, I think maybe a little bit earlier. Maybe I mentioned it about my cousin in Pittsburgh who was just not manageable, couldn't remember me. I'm his cousin. He could not remember the difference between two of his own fleshly sisters. And she started him on the basic bundle, I think, maybe the core 4. He became so active that they were having trouble keeping up with him. He would walk off, go down to the neighbors, and they didn't know where he was. And so his granddaughter was concerned that he had too much energy now that he's taking Micro Daily. So she wanted to stop the product. But his sister, who's been on the product for now 2 or 3 years, said absolutely not. I recommended CBD that would calm him down a little bit. And when I last talked to her last week, he not only remembered me, Elizabeth Ann, as he knew me when I was a little girl. Wow. He remembered his sisters. He knew who they were. He knew that he'd been given some monopoly money as compared to the real money. He recognized that. He's now sleeping better. Wow. I also want to mention my sister, who is 87 years old. She's 11 years older than me. A few years ago, could not remember her Social Security number. When we started her the product, especially the Brain Boost and the Collagen, she called me one day. And by the way, she would call me thinking she was calling her daughter. It happened all the time. But she called me on purpose to tell me that she could now remember her Social Security number. The doctors had said that her dementia was so far gone, there was nothing they could do about it. But I just had a conversation with her this week, and she's asking me about a couple who just got married, how they were doing. She's very current. And I attribute it to the Micro Daily products.
Wow. That's incredible, Liz. Thank you very much for being willing to share your story. That's huge. Paul, USA. Thank you for your comments. Go ahead. Paul.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I've been looking at the mitochondria dysfunction within the past few months, and the science is pretty clear that there's a strong connection between Alzheimer's and mitochondria dysfunction. So that seems to be a pathway for recovery for those patients, particularly when they focus on the known nutrients that target.
Okay, we heard you. We lost you there. Sounds like you're on a moving train, maybe. So maybe you got out of a cell phone signal area. I'm not sure. Possibly. We'll come back to you, Paul, and hear your comments. Comments a little bit more on that later. But very interesting. He says a
Right now.
mitochondria pathway. You still there, Paul?
Yes, I was saying the research is showing that there's a strong connection between mitochondrial dysfunction and Alzheimer's, and that seems to indicate that there's a pathway for recovery for many of these patients if the mitochondria can be targeted effectively. And we do know how that can be done. I think the literature is pretty clear on that.
I'd say it is pretty clear because we're seeing the results. So thank you for making the connection between the mitochondria having something to do with that. Thank you very much, Paul, for sharing that. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else want to share their story? The Roberts.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Stephanie Roberts. Yes,
Hey, Stephanie Roberts.
Hey. I swear by those nutrients. I really do. I was watching over a lady that was 90. She was 93 when she started. No. She was 91 when she started. When I recommended her son to buy some things for her and was telling her what it does. She had dementia. I said had because she had passed. But when she was on her, while she was living, she was in a nursing home, laying on her bed, flat on her back, one leg. She couldn't move. She wasn't doing nothing but moaning and different names talking out her head. And one day her son called me and she said, she was using maybe about a year, maybe less than that. I can't remember. And he called me one day. He said, Stephanie, they found mom on the floor. I said, what you mean? She had moved herself to where she got on the floor. I said, well, did they find any bruises, any kind of marks on her? She said no. It was like she scooted out of her bed, getting ready to move. Her leg that was off, when I used to go visit her, I could see it like moving. No other parts of her body were moving before she started on the nutrients. I recommend it to anybody who have dementia. And I believe if her son would have kept her on that, she passed 2 months ago. She would still be here with us. She was 94. But as long as she was on them, she was trying to move around in her bed. She was speaking plain languages. She was getting where she knew me, where she knew my grandbabies when we went in there to visit her. And if anybody got any parents or grandmothers or whatever, and you want to see them live a normal life, if you can afford them, get what they need with this nutrients. Because I'm telling you, it works. I've seen it in action. I've seen it on me, and I've seen it on people that I have recommended to. It works.
Wow. Thank you very much, Stephanie. We certainly appreciate your sharing your thoughts there with that and your own personal experience and your observations. And we're hearing these stories over and over and over again, folks. So this is, from my point of view, it's not a fluke. But again, we're not allowed to say that it's a treatment or cure for any disease state. So that's where we have to stand on that. Now, if anyone else has a story that they'd like to share, just feel free to raise your hand. We'll just give you a little bit of the reasoning that Dr. Prasad has shared with us, some of the basic science behind how and why these Dr. Prasad's formulas do what they do. This is the man who's the reason for this all happening. It's Dr. Kedar Prasad. So he was the world's first radiation biology PhD. His products have been awarded some 10 US patents on micronutrients. Now, there's actually been a few more than that, 1 or 2 more since that statement was made. So I believe we're in the 11 or 12 category by now. But Dr. Prasad was awarded some $12.5 million by the US Congress for research. That's what started the whole ball rolling, was the government's request for a supplement that could keep the soldiers on the battlefield in optimal health. That's what got the ball rolling. All the other vitamin companies, every vitamin manufacturer, every product formulator in the country could have stepped up and said, I can take care of that, but they all took a step back. If any of us were all sitting on a board of a vitamin company and said, hey, let's formulate a vitamin that could optimize everybody's health in the United States, that could make everybody's health improve, we would be out of business. So I'm not implying that those companies had no interest in making everybody healthier, but I am saying this man did. This man decided that he could do what the government was asking for. And so he produced it. And it took some 9 years or 6 years of internal review board testing and all kinds of other things before it finally was approved for human consumption. 14 clinical trials and studies later, Dr. Prasad's product was released, and only the soldiers on the battlefield had access to it. So it was some years later before the rest of us are now able to get access to it. That's why we have this product. But Dr. Prasad is the man who discovered the anti-cancer potency of vitamin E succinate. There's more than one type of vitamin E. He's the one who figured out that that particular type of vitamin E just happens to kill cancer cells. He also discovered that butyric acid is an anti-cancer agent. That has to do with fermentation of fibers in the gut. So he knows a little bit about the gut. He knows a little bit about the whole human anatomy and vitamin micronutrients. And by the way, it also happens to cross the blood-brain barrier. So he knows quite a bit about the brain. He was a professor of University of Colorado School of Medicine for more than 30 years and was invited to be a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee in candidates in medicine. So Dr. Prasad is not just a scientist. He's in the upper echelon of scientists, published more than 250 times in peer-reviewed publications, and he's authored more than 33 books. I think it's 35 books by this time now. So this is not just some college student that came and joined a company to be a product formulator. This is the gentleman who taught doctors and is very, very storied background. This is one of his latest books, by the way. He wrote the book on dementia and memory loss. So he put pen to paper on his research about how micronutrients specifically help the brain. So you can find that book, just, you can search for it on Google or somewhere and get access to it. He says it is written for laymen. And these are some of the other books that Dr. Prasad has written. And this is just a few of them. This is just some of the books that Dr. Prasad has written on the subject of cancer, brain, the whole human anatomy, and micronutrients is what we're talking about. Now, as far as this is one of the products here that Michi Morris said that she was giving to her mom, Collagen Daily. Dr. Prasad has done an entire hour-long discussion on collagen peptides alone. Now, before you say to yourself, I'm taking collagen peptides, so let me just start with the most outstanding feature of this. This product is not like the collagen peptide that you get from Costco or someplace else, because you can walk into these nutrition stores and there's a whole wall full of collagen peptides, but I guarantee you not one of them will have enzyme inhibitors in it. Not one. And I can say that because this one is patented. It's the only one that has enzyme inhibitors. And before you say to yourself, so what? I'm going to answer that question for you. Why that's such a big deal. Now, some of them have this hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is what makes your skin feel moist. So it helps to keep moisture in the skin. The collagen peptide itself reduces the oxidative stress, restores the elasticity of the skin, reduces the amount of wrinkles in the skin. So collagen peptide does that. The hyaluronic acid helps it to remain moist. But the enzyme inhibitors, that's unique. And only this company has this particular one. And again, it's patented. I don't care where you go on the planet, you won't find this one. The enzyme inhibitors blocks the enzyme that cause the body to degrade collagen in the first place. So you can buy those cheap collagens off the shelf, but you lose the collagen you make almost as fast as you make it. It's just degrading. The same as if you make it, you lose it. You make it, you lose it, because your own body is making the enzymes that degrade the collagen. It starts around age 20, 25 is when the enzymes start to go up. Dr. Prasad realized that something needed to block that action. He added it to this one, making it 100% unique. And again, it was patented about a year ago now. So the patent was awarded. Now, what does this have to do with Alzheimer's? We heard the gentleman earlier, Paul, making comments about mitochondria. Mitochondria is a big deal. The microdaily and the N-acetylcysteine, the alpha lipoic acid, and all the components in microdaily help with mitochondrial dysfunction. That's a beautiful thing, because the mitochondria produces hydroxy radicals. That's what degrades mitochondrial function. No question about it. So what Paul was saying is 100% correct. But this glutathione, the components of microdaily, causes the glutathione to remove hydroxy radicals from the cells, protecting the mitochondria from mitochondria, and it can actually reverse it. So all of those fatigue type diseases and all of that can all be reversed with the proper amount of relief from oxidative stress and free radical damage. But this collagen peptide has the ability to block the enzyme that degrades neurons in the brain. It's called beta amyloid. So this inhibits the beta amyloids from doing damage to the neurons in the brain that leads to dementia and leads to Alzheimer's. So I don't have Alzheimer's in my family, immediate or otherwise, but I personally take double doses of this collagen peptide every day because I don't want to go down that road. And you saw from the statistics, and those are public statistics, by the way. You can just go on ChatGPT or Google and find those same statistics that I shared with you earlier. They're very real. Millions of people, especially in heading towards 65 and older, are coming down with this dreaded disease. And it's the worst thing you ever want to experience, to watch someone slowly deteriorate with Alzheimer's, because they just die slow, painful, agonizing death. Now, am I trying to suggest that collagen peptide is the cure or treatment for Alzheimer's? Absolutely not. That's why I gave you the disclaimer earlier. I'm just passing on to you the science that Dr. Prasad has shared with us as to how and why this particular product happens to be unique. Dr. Prasad is also, remember I told you about that butyric acid that he's aware of, that he's the one who discovered it? This man has a unique knowledge about the gut. The bacteria that you're looking at right here that he chose to put into his probiotic daily, this bacteria is unique. This bacteria is different. It's not the same. I was always taught that you needed to have at least 50 billion international units a day of probiotics. If you really want to give yourself a fighting chance, you had to have a minimum of 50 billion international units every single day. And Dr. Prasad comes out with this thing and he says 22, 23 billion international units is good enough. And the reason why is because he chose acid resistant and heat resistant strains of bacteria. That means when it goes into your gut, it survives digestion. It survives the gut and makes its way in to balancing out your microbiome and creating a healthy atmosphere. Dr. Prasad says that when a person is in whatever the disease, there's a measure of dysbiosis in the stomach that can be reflected in the disease. Other scientists have said, doesn't matter what level of disease the person is in, there's a fingerprint in the gut. They can literally take bacteria from your gut, from your stool, measure it, and tell you what disease you have. They can do that. Is this the cure for disease? Absolutely not. But Dr. Prasad has told us clearly, this brings the microbiome more in favor of beneficial bacteria and reduces dysbiosis in the gut, because the gut-brain connection is very real. So we've actually seen people whose entire attitudes have changed just by adding this to their diet. Whole disposition changed just by adding a probiotic boost to their diet. So highly recommend this for someone dealing with any kind of issues like that. My personal favorite is this brain boost. Remember I told you Dr. Prasad said to us that there's a stem cell that survives even if a person is deep into Alzheimer's, just like Michi Morris's mother was. what's in this brain boost is food for those stem cells. This literally can feed them. There was a time when it was believed that once you lost a neuron, it was gone. Now, the latest research, just heard this recently, there's a study just recently out that new neurons are being formed every single day. This is like food for the neurons. So you want to put some brain food in, just like you're feeding fish, this is the one to do. I take 2 of these twice a day personally, and I will never, ever, ever be without it. I keep about a dozen bottles on my shelf at all times. I will not be without this brain boost product. I don't take it because I'm having trouble with my memory that I know of. Or at least I can't remember if I have it or not. Okay, pun intended. But I take it because I don't want to lose my memory. I don't want to go into the kitchen and try to and can't remember why I went in there and what whether I was trying to get coffee or tea that day or where my keys are. By the way, the solution to where your keys are is put them in the same place every day. Walk in the house, put them in the same place. Then you don't have to worry about whether they're stuck between the kitchen, the cushions in the seat or the couch or someplace like that. Put them in the same place every time. Just that, make a rule. And then that'll save yourself some time. Okay. But anyway, I don't walk into rooms trying to remember what in the world I went in there for. I have had that feeling. That's why I can describe it. My friend called it sometimers. Sometimes you remember, sometimes you don't. But anyway, the brain boost, I'm here to tell you, I believe that stuff is absolutely phenomenal. So I will not go one single day without it. In the morning, for me, it's like a double shot of espresso. So I absolutely love it. There is another story about memory that I'd like to share with you. Okay, we have time for it. Let me just share this one with you because I think you'll appreciate it. And I believe Barbara may even be on the meeting now. So Barbara, if it's okay with you, we're going to share your story, and you can tell us what the update is later if you would like. If you're
No
here.
problem. Yes, you could do that. Thank you, Jonathan.
Hey, Barbara is here. I told you. Barbara's always here, and then you can just give us your update because Barbara's story was just, for me anyway, it was just shocking to hear that level of memory loss could exist. And she was not the only one. Barbara Green, we'll take your question or comment, please.
Yes, I have some testimony, some things that I want to say that I have been dealing with. And I was on the microdaily ESP for 1 month. And I saw tremendous. I even was just taking 2 in the morning and 2 at night. And I was telling you some problems that I was having. You said increase it. And when I increased it, it eliminated the other issues. I just want to give you an idea of some of the things that I was suffering with. Number one, my balance. I would fall. They gave me an MRI. Was nothing wrong with my brain, nothing wrong with my ears. It was the fact my brain wasn't getting a connection to what it was supposed to do. So when I got on the EMS, I immediately stopped balancing. I started balancing. I was also going to physical therapy. That helped, but it didn't help like it did until I got on the EMS. As well as I was tired. I didn't feel like doing nothing. I had pain constantly in my knee, my left knee. I had surgery. I had a knee replacement, and that didn't do me any good. Matter of fact, the chief doctor at Oxford said that I shouldn't have had the surgery because it was my back. I suffer with severe inflammation that automatically almost just lessened after 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks on the micronutrients. Then my brain, I couldn't remember nothing. I was forgetting. I have not been on it since January because I started in December the 27th. My orders still haven't came in yet. So I'm a testimony. Please get an extra bottle if you can, because if you run out, your body gonna tell you, you need your micro daily. And my pain came back. My mucus came back, and it's all from not being consistent with and even my appetite. I was telling you that I was losing weight, but then I started desiring sweets. You told me to get on the fatty meats, which is salmon, and I did it. My appetite went back. My weight, I'm at what you call it, a standstill. But I'm sure when I get back my micro daily in my system, I'm going to be back on track. I'm serious. I could not live without it from what I've seen thus far. Another thing, I have eye problems really bad. I've had the cataract surgery, and I can't wait to get on the the CBD, not the CBD, the ones for the eye.
Yeah,
and
the
then
eye
we're
boost.
not going to leave the CBD out because I'm depression. Anyway, we ain't going to even go there. Anxiety, all of the above.
All right, we're going to pause.
So I
we're gonna
am
pause
really,
Barbara right now. Let Barbara tell us the rest of the story as far as her memory is concerned. So, so Barbara, if you're here, give us an update on how you're doing. How's your cognitive function going? How's things going with you?
Okay, well, so far I'm progressing. I had a little setback when I had my spine surgery. I'm walking, I have energy, I'm still walking with assistance. I have developed some pain, but I think it's because I'm overdoing myself. I feel so good that I can make as many as 12,000 steps a day.
Oh my goodness.
So I think I'm overdoing myself, and that's why, I have the pain. But the doctors are all amazed. They say they can't believe how quick I bounced back with my surgery. Most people, I talked to one guy, said his mother is still trying to start walking. But I had gotten off it when I had my surgery, and you all told me I didn't have to, but my doctor told me yes. But as soon as I got back on it, I saw immediate results. But now I'm in the process of walking without assistance, but I can walk, but not, without my rollator or my cane. So I could say I'm still progressing. My problem is, though, affording my brain boost and my CBD. As time go on and I can, get, more people to buy, maybe that might encourage my sales, but I'm not on that, but I could see the hydro, the micro daily. Oh yes, I'm on the GL, what it is for the diet.
GLP-1.
I'm on GLP-1, and I could tell you immediately, I saw my hormones kick in for the better. I saw weight loss. I was on the what it is that they give you the shot for diabetes.
Ozempic.
Ozempic, and I was having stomach problems, and I came to the meeting and I heard Dr. Prasad say all of the bad that it does to your body. So I immediately got off. Now I went down to another size on the diet that GLP. I'm sorry, I can't get them
GLP-1
names.
boost. GLP-1
Yeah, but
boost.
anyway, that has been a success also, and I could see a big difference in it also. And I don't want to be without it because my appetite is suppressed. I'm not nervous. And like Brother Horace brought out one day, he said that his head not big and his body small. Is like his body is in proportion with losing. You don't have one part looking like this and that part looking like that. And I feel real good about it. And I would like to recommend it to everybody and anybody who can afford it, because it does add longevity to our imperfect bodies that we are experiencing right now.
That's right. Thank you very much, Barbara. That's pretty amazing. We appreciate your update and glad to hear about your success. And if we have time, we'll let Horace tell us about these proportions. So anyway, that's a little bit about the memory thing. I want to share one more story with you, but I think we're running out of time here. The other story was one woman who had to Google one time how to put her wedding rings back on. That's how bad her memory was. And now she's, after using Dr. Prasad's formulas, she has no problem. She can drive places. She doesn't have to call her husband to help her figure out where she is and how to get back home or to come pick her up. So her cognitive function restored very, very nicely, and she's very happy with the results. Dr. Prasad put together this formula too, CBD Boost. It's not just some old CBD. It's a CBD isolate. It's the most purest part of the CBD. So if you want a concentrate, the part of the CBD that very specifically gives you all the benefits for anxiety and preventing serotonin reuptake. So it's a serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So that's the benefit of this. Now, what is that? Most depression medications are serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So that's what they are. This does it naturally with no side effects. So that's the advantage of this CBD boost. So we're talking mental health benefits. Omega-3, another huge mental health benefits. The DHA, there's a whole story behind the benefits of that with cognitive and mental function. Also good for the heart. So these are all items that you would want to make sure that's part of your diet. Do not minimize any of this. And I've saved the best for last because I believe that this is absolutely the flagship product that Dr. Prasad has formulated. You heard Paul again talking about they're finding a pathway between mitochondrial dysfunction. There's a connection between mitochondrial dysfunction and Alzheimer's. This would have a definite positive impact when it comes to the free radicals and hydroxy radicals that do damage to the mitochondria. So when it comes to detoxing and protecting the body at the cellular level, when you raise glutathione levels the way that this does, when you add antioxidants in the body that cross the blood-brain barrier like this does, you can't help but have positive mental benefits. If nothing else, you will think clearer. And if nothing else, you think that you had positive benefits. So even if you think you have positive benefits, something is going on. Now, this kind of shows you the ingredients down here. Most of it looks like just some old multivitamin, but don't let anybody convince you that this is just some old multivitamin. There's no way in the world that it would take the $25 million worth of research would produce a vitamin that you could buy at CVS. That's not what this is. So the fact that it has multiple patents all over it for the original formula tells you that this is something quite unique, and no one has been able to duplicate this because Dr. Prasad is the one who put this formula together. The proprietary blend of N-acetylcysteine, see it down there at the bottom, N-acetylcysteine, alpha lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, beta carotene. That proprietary blend right there is absolutely positively unique. He is the one who knows the exact formula and the exact ratios that is the best for what our body needs. Diane Homer, you're waving your hand in the air. Hello, Diane. Diane's one of my favorite people. Actually, you all are my favorite people, but Diane's one of my favorite. I saw you, Diane, but you disappeared. Okay, just make sure you wave your hand again a little bit later on. Now, the best way to get the product is in this bundle. Dr. Prasad's recommendation is, at the very minimum, is this bundle right here. It's called the Core 4. Now, I still recommend that the Brain Boost be added to this. Engage Global has it so that if you do want to add the Brain Boost to one of these bundles, to any bundle, you can add any of the boost to it and they'll give you a discount on the boost. So that's discount below the wholesale price. So if you don't see a bundle that you like, doesn't have all the items in it that you want, then Engage Global will help you with that. There is a digestive boost also, and there's a sleep boost. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're in trouble, okay? So that seems to be, that's a big problem. If we're not getting enough sleep, we need to get between 7 to 8 hours of unbroken sleep, if at all possible. 7 to 8 hours of unbroken sleep is an absolute must. Okay, so Diane Homer is having trouble unmuting. So I'm gonna send you an invitation to unmute, Diane, and see if that helps. So here's the cost. Now, if you bought the items, the specific ingredients on each of these products, it will cost, by my estimate, somewhere around $1,000. The retail cost for the product itself is $310. If you bought it wholesale, the way that I buy it, because I buy it from the company, wholesale, the cost would be about $250. But Engage Global is subsidizing your health. They knocked off another $50. So you can buy this bundle now for cheaper than I can buy it for. So anyone who's on here that wants to just try this for the first time, this is your best way to go. Because again, buying it as a bundle like this is cheaper than distributors for the company buy this purchase the product for. All right. And if the Core 4 seems to be completely out of your range, well, this basic bundle is also an option. The retail price is $164. And subscription price would be $110 for just these two items right here alone. And that at least gets you off to a good start. But just get back with the person who who invited you to this. These are all the different bundles you can get: the basic bundle, the premium bundle, and the Dr. Prasad Core 4. And the person who invited you, they can help you to figure out which one of the bundles really is best for you. But one last word of advice. I was excited to hear Barbara Green saying that she's walking 12,000 steps a day. For most people, that's nearly impossible. 10,000 steps is what was at one time recommended for many people, but they just recently did some studies in the past 4 years or so that 7,000 steps is about the optimum. So that's a perfect number of steps, is about 7,000 steps. That's about 3.5 miles a day if you can. Now, you may not be able to do that all at once. That's fine. But when you go to Walmart, just park as far away from the door as you can. Go to the end of the parking lot, walk, get those steps in. Don't park by the door. Because, some of us will sit right there. We wait till a car come out, boy, and we take that close parking spot. No, find a spot way off there at the end. Get those steps in. That's it. It's the absolute best thing you could do. Walk, walk, walk. Do not ask a pill, potion, or lotion to do for you what you could do for yourself. Change your relationship with your couch. Get moving. If you want to extend your life and improve your mental acuity, get your body moving. So, but get back with the person who invited you to this discussion, and they will help you to figure out which ones of the Engage Global products, Dr. Prasad's formulas, will be right for you. So let's see if we can get that question from Diane Homer before we wrap up. If someone else has another quick question, please raise your hand, and we'll try to slip that in. Diane, I put the invitation there for you to unmute, and it still didn't work, huh? So, question. Diane's question is, I have brain boost and micro daily for my sister who has dementia. I will not order the collagen. Can I give her all three? If so, how much? Yes, yes, and yes. All of Dr. Prasad's formulas can be taken at the exact same time. So she can take micro daily. I would recommend double doses of micro daily. Don't just go with standard doses. See, the standard dose is the dose for a healthy 20-year-old soldier on the battlefield. Those of us who have extra miles on us, I take double dose. In fact, to be honest with you, I take a triple dose in the morning. I take a double dose in the afternoon, and I take a dose and a half at night. That's what I do. And I'm fairly healthy. I'm not saying that everyone has to do that. I'm just telling you my particular formula. So don't expect a dose for a 20-year-old, though, a healthy 20-year-old, to be the right dose for someone who's 80 or 90 with dementia. So try to take a double dose if you can afford it, if you can. So that's just my suggestion. So take a double dose of micro daily, number one. Take the brain boost as much as you can. If you can take 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, that's even better. If you can't, take the 1 and the 1. That's fine. Do whatever you can do. And yes, the collagen, the same thing. If all you can afford is 1 dose twice a day, take the 1 dose twice a day. I can't take my second dose late in the day because the enzyme inhibitor affects me with sleep because it's a tea. There's a white tea in there, and I'm very sensitive to that. So I take both of mine early in the morning. That's the way I have to do it. Horace O'Donnell, we'll take your comment real quick here just as we're wrapping up. I hope that answers your question, Diane. If not, please send me a text message and I will try to clarify that for you. Where are you, Horace?
I would just like to say to some of those who may be sitting on the fence, old or young, who thinks that these products don't work as well as they should, or somebody's told them, well, it's just micronutrients and you really don't need that. You just need to listen to your doctor. Well, we're listening to a doctor, Dr. Kedar Prasad. He is a scientist and he put these things together. What I love about the Micro Daily Core 4 is they cover the 4 areas of the body. They cover the gut, the cellular, the heart, and the brain. Those 4, and each one of those have inflammation inhibitors in them to stop the inflammation. And so you got a whole team of product working in your system to help your hormones get back balanced, to help your heart work the way it's supposed to help your kidneys and your pancreas. All of that is helping us to have a better quality of life. And so don't sit back and say, well, I bought these products and they don't work. Yes, they do. They may not be working for the particular thing that you bought it for, but they are working. How do you know? Stop taking them for a little while.
I guarantee you'll know.
Aches and pains that you think nothing about now, watch them come back. and they will come back with a vengeance. So please don't let somebody tell you not to take them. I've suffered 2 heart attacks. I've got a pacemaker in my chest. I'm 86 years old. I take Entresto and Eliquis, and they do damage to your pancreas, your kidneys, and your liver. And the doctors tell me for a person my age, I shouldn't be walking around smiling and grinning. I should be sitting in a chair somewhere, hardly able to move.
Like you used to.
Yeah, like I used to, exactly right. And so when I take those micro-daily products, I'm like you. I don't take just a couple of them. I will take 3 or 4 of the micro-daily EMF and wash it down with some hydro. I wash all of my capsules down with the hydro. I take the brain boost and the digestive boost and the heart boost and the eye boost. And it's all helping me maintain a good quality of health. So don't let nobody tell you that they don't work. They do work. And I'm living proof that they work.
And you're a young man in your 50s?
86.
86. All right. All right. Thank you very much, Horace. Frederick, you got the last question here. Sneak it in quick.
Jonathan, I just wanted to thank you for answering my question, because my mom, she has dementia and she'll be 84 this year. She's taking the omega-3 and the brain boost. And I was going to ask you, what else should she take? And so, thank you for answering my question. I do appreciate you and Dr. Prasad. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your feedback. That's encouraging. And I hope that everyone will just catch the vision that Dr. Prasad's formulas absolutely work. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. The only way to lose is not to take this product at all. And the second way to lose is not to take enough of the product. If it's not working, you're not taking enough. Double it up. Push into it harder. You'll see the difference. And that's my personal guarantee on that. So thank you guys very much for joining us. Look forward to having you guys again next week. The subject, Jeff Ashby is going to be on next week. So look for Jeff on next week's discussion. The topic will be announced. You guys have yourselves a good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a 6:15 meeting?
My team, 6:15.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. My team, 6:15.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.